If you've planned and you've saved for decades, why do you still feel behind? I can help simplify what really matters, especially in retirement. Most people I talk to about retirement, they're not confused. They're just overwhelmed by all the noise. If that sounds familiar, folks, you're not alone. Today we're going to explore why so many retirees feel behind, even when they shouldn't, and how to finally let go of that pressure. Feeling behind, it isn't a failure. It doesn't mean you've mismanaged your money or you made the wrong choices in life. Folks, it's a common emotional trap. One that sneaks up on retirees quietly, eroding their peace and their confidence. So by the end of this video, I think you're going to understand why it happens and what you can do about it. One of the biggest reasons retirees feel behind is comparison. You look at friends, you look at neighbors, you get on social media and you think, wow, they've got so much more. They're doing a lot better than I am. I'm behind everybody. Why is that? The problem is simple. Everyone's situation is different. Different income streams, different family responsibilities, just different retirement goals. Measuring yourself against others, folks, it's a trap. It creates pressure where none's needed. The media doesn't help either. Retirement headlines, they scream at you, you need $1 million to retire. Or most Americans, they're unprepared for retirement. Even if your plan is solid, these numbers make you feel less than. Feeding the I'm behind feeling. Truth is, you don't need to match the headlines. You need to match your life. So before we go any further, if you're planning retirement or you're already retired and you want clarity instead of constant pressure, subscribe to the channel. That's exactly what we talk about here. It's not just external comparisons. Many retirees feel behind because they expect too much of themselves. I should travel more. I should be richer. Well, we should all be richer. I should have everything figured out by now. These internal pressures, they often outweigh reality. The truth is, retirement's a process, folks. It's not a finish line. You can stop feeling behind, not by changing your plan, but by changing your perspective. Focus on your goals, not others' achievements. You need to celebrate small wins every month. Embrace your flexibility. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, folks. And once you do this, the feeling behind, it begins to fade. Here's the key, I think. Feeling behind is an emotional habit. It's not a financial reality. Peace comes when you accept your journey. Trust your plan. Stop comparing, and the sooner you make that shift, the sooner retirement's going to feel liberating instead of stressful. If you've been feeling behind, remember, you're not failing and you're not alone. Folks, you're exactly where you need to be to start enjoying retirement. Retirement isn't about catching up. It's about living fully where you already are. If this resonated with you, I recommend watching my next video. It's called The Quiet Difference Between Enough and More. I think it helps finally understand when enough is truly enough. And if you want honest, calm conversations about retirement, without the pressure, without the hype, without the scare tactics, make sure you subscribe to my channel, Retired Under Budget. Retirement doesn't have to feel perfect to feel secure, folks. You need to focus on what really matters and let go of all the rest. I want to thank you for spending some time with me here today. And as always, you all have a good day.